Hello and welcome to Sports Hub. I'm so happy that you found time to tune into this program. I'm sure you've come to love this program a lot. Last week we missed because I was on national duty somewhere, but I'm happy that we are back today. And the guest for today, I'll be able to introduce him later on, but he's a special guest. He's someone former Zambia tennis #1, and he won a scholarship, later on went to the US. I'm not revealing the name now, but I'll be able to introduce him later on. He's joining me on the show. He's my special guest, and there's something special about this guest. He's already started giving back to the community where he comes from. So feel free to participate on the program. The numbers will be crawling on the screen. On Facebook, you can go to Modern Sinkala Sports, and also Sports Hub Facebook page. If you go there, you send a message, and you'll be able to reach us. On WhatsApp is +2 60955 20 29 04. +2 60955 20 29 04. Then you'll be able to reach us and we'll be able to read your messages right here, right now. So for now, let's recap on the question that I asked you last time. There's a photo that I showed you and I asked you to name the two sportsmen who are on the photo. Those two, who are they? On the left and on the right. So, in case you failed or in case you don't know them, I'll give you the answer. So, on the left is Zedi Sileti, former Chipolopolo midfielder, and on the right is Elijah Litana, former Chipolopolo defender. These were stars in 1994. Remember when Zambia went to the Africa Cup of Nations in 1994 in Tunisia? Zambia finished second. They lost to Nigeria by 2-1. Elijah Litana scored first, and Nigeria came back through the current technical advisor for Zanaco, Emmanuel Amunike, scored the 2 goals, and that's how Zambia failed to win that trophy. But those two were stars in that tournament. So Zedi Sileti and Elijah Litana. Let me show you another one. We see if you can recognize who is that sportsman on the photo. So if you know the numbers to call. The numbers will be displayed on the screen. Who is that one? I'll give you a leakage. Prolific footballer of yesteryears. Who is he? So the numbers will be crawling. If it's on WhatsApp, it's +2 60955 20 29 04, 0955 20 29 04. And you'll be able to reach us on Facebook. It's Modern Sinkala Sports or Sports Hub Facebook page. Okay, so we'll be waiting for your answers. For now, let's look at what happened over the weekend. We start with the MTN Super League. Of course, there were interesting results. So you saw Green Buffaloes 0, Changa Rangers 0. Zanaco beat Nkana by 3-2. I don't know what happened to Team Likulu. I don't know if they're still Likulu. They were humbled by 3-2 by Zanaco. Then Chambishi 1, Muza 2. Muza can't stop winning. They're doing very well. And now they are in top 4. There's something special about this Mazabuka-based side, FC Muza, beating Chambish by 2-1. Power Dynamos 0, Green Eagles 0. I don't know what is happening to Power Dynamos. They've continued drawing, all draws. I think 3 consecutive draws. I don't know what is happening. Napsa Stars also 4 consecutive wins. This time they beat Lumwana Radiance by 1-0. Butcon 0. Forest Rangers 5. What a whitewash it was. Forest Rangers, they were in scintillating form. Butcon, I don't know what is happening to them. So they lost by 5-0. Kansanshi Dynamos 0, Red Arrows 0. Kabwe Warriors 1, Nkana. No, not Nkana. It should be Kabwe Warriors won. They beat Prison Leopards actually. So they beat Prison Leopards by 1-0. Then yes, so no, by 2-1. That's the correct results here. So it was Kabwe Warriors 2 and Prison Leopards 1. And then Zesco United drew 0-0 with Nkwazi. So we take out that Cabo Warriors 1, Kana, we take out that one. That one is not the correct result. So that's what happened in the MTN Super League. Let's now go to the first National Division 1 League. Young Green Buffaloes beating the league leaders Trident by 3-1. Wow, it was a shocker, but Green Buffaloes are very good when they are at Independence Stadium at home. Hito United 0, Zesco Malaiti Rangers 1, Lusaka Dynamos 1, Mufulira Wanderers 1, Konkola Blades 1, Aguila Stars 1, Kafue Celtic 1, Polungu Haba 0, Tondo Stars 1, Bats 0, Jumulo 3, Kafue Eagles 1, City of Lusaka 2, Livingstone Pirates 1. This is the game which was played in 2 days because of flooding. The pitch flooded at Woodland Stadium, so it was finished the following day. So City of Lusaka won by 2-1. Let's finish off with the Women's Super League with 17 results. Green Buffaloes 1, Zanaco 0, National Assembly 0, Busa 0, Red Arrows 4, Green Eagles 1, Kiasa Queens 1, Trident Queens 3, Indeni Roses 2, ZISD Women 0. I'm sure they are missing the services of Everine Katongo. There's a lot of talk regarding Everine Katongo, who has declined to go back. She wants to move on, but she is a ZISD player. Then Police Doves 1, Mufulira Wanderers 0, Zescondola Girls 6, Played Forward Queens 1. This is the game that we showed on this channel, TV3, as a curtain raiser to the National Division 1 League. Prison Leopards Queens 0, Kwaze Queens 0, Elite Ladies 3, Queens Sports Academy 0. So, in a nutshell, that's what happened over the weekend. I know in the English Premier League, I want to talk about one result. Arsenal, the league leaders, beating Manchester United by 3-2. So they continue leading on the table. So for now, we dance to a song done by various artists, and this one is titled Bola Nalesa. On the other side, I'll be introducing my guest for tonight.
Jazzy boy,
Zambia, Zambia, Kiburu, Wagwa, King Gande, Kayambo,
the king of the dance hall.
Felix Feligo, Mangwi. Let's go, Zambia, Zambia, Zambia. Zambia, ingijo mupira Zambia, atachi, mupike bola, ekunkulu shamuele tula, mupike, awe, nativa Zambia, nativa Zambia,
The big bola batea is backed by juju. If we're bola today is backed by fire. Rambi bashintili la voodoo. When you know, okay, no voodoo. I got that thing and I have a sungu. All I need is a tape sungu. Nangula tangile. All I need 9 days. Nangula yikagare. All I need 9 days. Nangula tangile. All I need 9 days. Nangula yikagare. All I need 9 days.
All I need is to let we know. All I need is Listen, ladies and gentlemen.
Sugar sounds. Oh yeah.
Right, various artists there with Bola Nales, and a lot of action will be coming actually. I know now there's a CHAN African Nations Championship taking place in Algeria, and next month it will be the Africa Cup for the under-20s. We'll be seeing Zambia going there to battle. Remember, the last time they won was in 2017 on home soil. So can they go and do it again? Well, we'll wait and see. Then in March, the AFCON qualifiers will start. This time it will be under new coach Avram Grant. So we can't wait for this action. So time for me to introduce my guest in the studio. He is a former tennis player, now a coach. He's based in the US. He's former Zambia #1 or Zambia Seed 1. His name is Teza Simunyola. I'm so happy to host you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you very much.
All right, you can take a seat. So Teza is doing a lot as at now. He is doing some, can I say charity work? Okay, he's giving back to the community. He's built state-of-the-art tennis courts in Mbala District. So we'll be talking about that much later on. So first of all, Teza, we want to get your background. What's your background? Who is Teza Simunyola?
Teza Simunyola is just a kid. You know, I'm still a kid, but it's just a kid that grew up in the Copperbelt mostly. I was born in at UTH hospital here in Lusaka. My parents used to live in Kafua, and then they moved to the Copperbelt. And so I grew up, started playing tennis in Chingola, and then moved to Kalulushi, and then later moved to Kitwe, Ganaton.
Right. So is tennis the first sport you ever played?
No, tennis is one of the sports I played. You know, first of all, just like any Zambian, there's no way you play anything without playing football. So football was one of the first sports I played, but I played football, tennis, table tennis, badminton, anything, a lot of times anything to do with the racket.
Right. But how did you settle for lawn tennis and not any other sports discipline?
It was more of a family thing. My father was a tennis player, and you know, I have a funny story. You know, at home my mother didn't allow us to get drinks like these sodas, like Coca-Cola, Fanta. Mm-hmm. So my father used to go to the tennis club in Chingola, and I used to want to follow him so I could get the Fanta. So that's how it started. So my father started saying that if you want to play tennis, you have to hit on the wall. I remember the wall in Chingola, in Changa Tennis Club. So if you want to play tennis, if you want to get a drink, you have to hit for 45 minutes on the wall. Wow. So I would hit on the wall for 10 minutes and say, it's 45 minutes already? And then he says, no, not yet. So I would go and hit more, and that's how that's how I fell in love with it.
Right. So in short, it's your father who introduced you to tennis and also inspired you to do tennis?
Yes. He's the one that, with a lot of stuff. He was that person just always looked up to with a lot of stuff, not just tennis.
Right.
Yeah.
So how was your experience in your early days? Did you fall in love with tennis immediately?
Yes. My brother, everyone in the top of my family, my sister Kai used to play, my brother Chaz used to play. He was a football player. Actually, when I was looking at the teams you were mentioning, my brother used to play with I forgot the name, with something to do with the timber. I forgot. He used to play for that team, and he was a reserve for Power Dynamos. So I'm a good supporter of Power Dynamos.
Oh, right.
Yeah. So yes, that's how my third brother, my brother Keller, was the one who was more serious with tennis, and then he's actually the first one that went to the US, and then I followed, and then Nisa and everybody else started following.
Right. Which one was your first club that you played for?
The first club is, of course, at the time when I started playing for Nchanga, I was playing at Nchanga. I wasn't that good yet. But I started playing at Chibuma Tennis Club in Kalalushi. That's when we had our coach, Margot Stuzen. And she's the one that used to bring all these kids from the Copper Belt together. And then later there was Liam Sweeney, and then Mr. Sikazwe, Mr. Mtambo, even though his son was very good squash and badminton player. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then we grew up around those people like Simon Gondwe and all those people.
Mm-hmm. Right. How popular was the sport at that point when you were playing?
I think it was a little more popular because there were so many more people playing from the Copper Belt because of the ZCCM they used to have strong clubs. So it was a little more popular. I know now it's less popular in the Copper Belt, but I know they're building up. And then Lusaka is the same thing, it's building up a little more. Yeah.
Okay. Can you remember the time you were playing the big tennis players then, the big names?
From in Zambia?
In Zambia,
yes. Yes, I remember the Kapungwes, the Mumbas, the Kangwas, of course. The Kangwas are very, very good. The Kangwas, Kanikis, Mambo Njovu, David Mutale, Kanyente Chipopola, Andrew Tsembele, Alec Mohango. I remember a lot of people, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
How long did it take you to become Zambia #1?
Actually, I was number one in Zambia from the end of my 12 years in what they call 12 and under tennis. I was #1 in Zambia all the way to the senior. So
what? You were 12 years, but #1 in Zambia?
No, #1 12 and under, #1
okay.
14 and under, #1 16 and under, #1 18 and under,
mm-hmm.
and #1 adults.
I see.
I was #1 in the country when I was about 15 years old, in adults.
Wow, incredible career that you had. But how was the competition then?
I think the competition was strong, but I still, that's some of the things I really advocate for. The competition was strong, but I still feel like we didn't have enough depth. We didn't have if you have a draw of 32 people
mm-hmm.
in the juniors, you'd win a couple matches like 6-love,
mm-hmm.
And then when you start to get to the semi-quarterfinal, semi-final, that's when it starts to get a little bit rougher.
Mm-hmm.
And we're talking about a national tournament. Now, I think it's much better if the national tournament, it starts off with a fight. They're playing the Australian Open now. Nadal just lost, first round, or I don't know, first or second round, but he's #1 in the world. So he's losing in the 64 draw. We need something that's a little more stronger at the national level from the get-go.
Right.
Yeah.
So, Teza, you were #1 up to the seniors. How did your career end? Because one would expect if you are #1 in Zambia, then you go further and then maybe challenge for bigger titles. How did it go?
That was always my goal, and but things change when you start to see that the chances of what's happening, there's something happening at this Nadal level or living level, so I was not yet at that level where I feel like, I wanted to, it was always my heart to do that, but because I had an education, I was juggling between the two, and I figured that my direction was much more in the education side of it.
Okay. So in that case, would you say it's very difficult to juggle the two, education and sport?
No, I think you have to juggle the two. I think that we want to encourage young sportsmen to both stay in school and then do the sport, so that I would love to have somebody at 16, 17 years old have a choice to say, oh, I want to play professional football, or I want to be an accountant when they have been taking. You know, most of the time what I see is that I see people saying that either they're very good at sport, so they give up school, or they're very good at school, they give up sport. You know, so you have to be either, you have to try to get the two together.
But I'm sure it's very difficult to be good at both.
But that's how life is, you know. If you say you're going to be, you know, if you take the top football players in the world, if I asked you to name 5 top football players in the world, you're going to give me players from different countries. You're not going to tell me 5 players from Spain or 5 players from UK, you know. Even in the UK, people that watch the Premier League a lot, they're always talking about people that come from all these countries other than the UK, but it's Premier League. So yes, it's difficult to juggle, but it's the right thing to do.
Okay, but where do you think is the challenge? I think the challenge which is in tennis is the same which is in golf.
Yes.
Zambia has been hosting the Zambia Open, and no Zambian has ever won Zambia Open, but it's outsiders that come to win. Where is the challenge for a Zambian to go to the topmost in the world?
Yeah, I mean, I think in most sports, that's why I'm a huge advocate for building up your local sportsmen, especially in the grassroots. You know, we like that limelight of saying that we're hosting Zambia Open or you know, whether it's golf, tennis, or anything. We like that limelight. But we also know at the end of the day, we haven't really prepared our sportsmen to be at that level, to say that they'll benefit from it. And especially in the fact that we have to take care of our own first before we really start to think about how we're going to benefit outside. We quickly like to run to the outside before we prepare our own, you know. I feel like that's something I'm really against.
Okay, so mostly it's maybe lack of preparation, maybe lack of proper planning and all that.
It's lack of many people playing. We don't have enough people playing. We usually like to take, like, I'll give an example of football. We take, I mean, I always get in trouble for this, but we take about 40 people, we fund them, we train them, they go and play all these other places for training. And again, I can't reveal how old I am, but ever since I was born, Zambia has never qualified for the World Cup.
True.
You know, and when you spend that much money on a few people, money that could be used for other people to make a living, and you have really the smallest chance of making it, I think, why don't we take care of our own? We have so many more people playing. When we have so many people playing and really strong competition, we will see many more high level players at the top. That's how a triangle works. You have a wide base, the top is going to be really, really high. If you have a small base, the top can be short, right about here. So you want a wide base. You know, we talk about Brazil a lot, but everyone that knows Brazil in football has so many players. Everybody says Brazil can make so many national teams because they have just too many people playing. Now, what we need to do is that how can we have so many people playing, whether it's tennis, and then how can they be making a living using that tennis in the country before you go to the goal of saying, let's go to the World Cup. You know, when I was growing up, I was in the Copper Belt, I used to see all these Power Dynamos players, Canary Devils players. When they were going to play or training or anything, they were followed by police escort. They were in the buses. They came from nice homes. They were taken care of. That's what needs to happen now, so that kids can look up to them here, not keep looking up to Messi, who even Argentina cannot produce another Messi right away.
True.
Yeah. So why do we expect that we're going to produce just another Messi right now? we need to produce more people that could be accountants, lawyers, and then because the base is wide, somebody's going to be a Messi, and that's how you get it. You don't go for that; you go for the white base, and the white base is going to produce. Yeah.
So tell us about the opportunity that came your way, winning a scholarship to the US. How did that come about?
At first, my brother was Kela. There's a guy, Dan O'Connor. He used to travel all over Africa to look for. It was a tennis coach. He was a recruiter, and he was traveling all over Africa. And then he found through Mr. Max Chichula and Mr. Chibesa Kunda, he found my brother Kela and Steven. Oh, actually, first, Fred Kangwa was the first one. He went to the U.S. and so there was some noise, a little bit of that. Fred Kangwa was one we used to follow behind. He was like our leader in television.
Okay.
And then followed by then my brother Kela and then Stephen Kangwa were recruited to go to Concordia College. And then a couple years later, I went to play some tournaments in the U.S. My brother invited me to go to the U.S. I played some tournaments in the U.S. and the colleges saw me. That's how I was recruited to go on tennis scholarship. Right.
What was it all about? So was it about academics and also sports? What was basically sports?
It was actually both, 100% both. I think that if I didn't have my education, I wasn't going to find myself in that situation. Of course, I was much more in love with my tennis, but this is something I'm always saying. Like, I'm really happy my father was around to say no tennis, no school, no tennis. So if I didn't have my tennis, I wouldn't be in the position that I am now.
Okay. Did you play tennis at a high level in the US? Or what happened?
I was playing. Yes, I was trying to play semi-professional in the US. But because of the schedule that we had with the college, and the way school is, again, we're talking about juggling. They don't care whether you number this in the US. They just say the teacher that you have at school is always saying, "Oh, where's your homework?" So it was tough to juggle. But when I was taking the two of them, I settled with education.
Right. And after that, you decided. When did you retire?
There's no time like you just say I retired, but I
did you feel like the body could not support you? What made you retire?
What made me retire? Sort of made me. There's a time maybe after I graduated college. 2 years after I graduated college, in the U.S. is college and university is the same thing. So when I graduated college, that's when I sort of retired. I didn't say I retired, but things were just moving gradually. They're slowing down.
You retired too soon before Zambia could benefit from you. All right. So now you are a coach. Are you enjoying coaching more?
Yes. I started coaching sort of at the time. That's the same time I was unknowingly retiring. I had some kids that I was teaching that were really getting better. They were developing, and so I sort of wanted to. I said to myself, in a way, that's how I started teaching. Anyway, I started saying, if I am not going to be a professional player, I'm going to teach somebody else to be a professional player. So I had some kids that I was teaching that were building up. And that's what they wanted to do, and some of them did turn professional. Some of them went into college. Yeah.
Right. So at the moment, if you can give us details, what are you doing in the US? Do you work for a college as a coach, or you have a team, or what is happening?
Okay, in the US, yes, I run my own program. I call it Simunyola Tennis. I run it in Atlanta, Georgia, and so I'm a tennis developer. I like to develop kids from a small age all the way up. I'm not somebody who likes to meet somebody on the way. I like to start from the bottom, and then pick them up all the way up. Right. Yeah, that's what I've done all my life.
Right. And how has it been so far from the very first kids that you taught any of them that are doing very well in tennis at the moment?
I had, yes, I had a lot of them. They went to some of the best schools, you know, you name it, Harvard, Princeton. I had one kid who played the U.S. Open, which is, you know, the 128 people. I had one kid who played the U.S. Open twice. And, you know, the biggest thing I get out of this is the relationship, because I start with these when they were 6, 7 years old, and they've gone on to be like, you know, they have their families. I've been to weddings of kids that I used to play with when they were young. And, you know, it's the relationships that are much more important at the end of the day.
Right. All right. So now, recently you were working on a project in Mbala.
Yes.
Where you've built a school and also the 2 tennis courts. But before you say anything, we have a compilation, there's a package. So let's just see this package where Teza Simunyola has built a school in Mbala. The son of the soil returns home to a melodious welcome after 49 years of absence. US-based Teza Simunyola Jnr. was born here in Chipalo village of Mbala District in northern province of Zambia. He is one of the indigenous pioneers of tennis in Zambia after learning from the colonial masters. It is under this background that one of his sons, Teza Simunyola Jnr., aged 52, who is also former Zambia tennis #1, decided to build a school dubbed Simola Academy in the birthplace of his father to give him a legacy. Located about 15 kilometers from Mbala town, this is the first school in Zambia that will fully encompass tennis and education.
The main idea about this school is that it's what we call an academy, right? It's a marriage between sport and academics. And I wanted to put up a school like that because, as an example, my father was somebody who, as much as I love tennis, insisted on me staying in school or maybe doing my work or whatever. But my father was always insisting, like, you're not going to play tennis if you don't do your work. So he was using tennis as a way to encourage me to stay in school.
Simunyola Sr., who is now 82 years of age, is deeply humbled that the school has been built in his honor.
One of the children appreciates what I've done in training them, and they become good tennis players, international tennis players and coaches. And he says, to thank you, I'm going to build a school for you and tennis courts at your own village. And I thank him very much because people are so happy. They really want to use the facility.
For the kids who have not seen a school in this area since 1946, it is a dream come true. I would like to thank Teza Simunyola for bringing this academy here in Chipalo village for us, where we'll even be playing tennis. I am so excited. I've never seen anything like this in my life. We thank Teza Simunyola for this. We were only hearing it from afar, but now it's here. I am so glad. I never imagined that this would be here. Probably it would be an opportunity for me to go abroad with tennis. I am so happy. We never had this, but now we have, and we are learning. Also witnessing this occasion was His Royal Highness Chief Mfambo of the Mambwe people, who urged his subjects to guard the infrastructure jealously.
I want you to know that there is a blessing in giving back. Chirokonda mumanyi utira tigwa ipalo umukupela. Yasimunyola nga yalondanga nga yisile amapela wenga yatange yakumanyize yonsi. But I want you to know that what they've given to the community will benefit every one of us. kino mufile mwamanyi kyakulanda ati titini yapeeraku swensi tukumako.
2 tennis courts have been constructed at the school, becoming the first ever courts to be constructed in rural Zambia. The kids have already welcomed the sport and seem to be enjoying playing it. Modern Sinkala ZNBC Sport, Mbala, Northern Province. Where that school has been constructed, it's called Simunyola Academy. So Teza will shed more light on that one. How long did it take you to construct that academy?
To put everything together, it took about two and a half years. So yeah, we were. I mean, there's just so many things that one has to do before setting the courts on the ground, or the school on the ground. So yes, it took us. And at first, I wanted to do it to surprise my father, but I was just so anxious that I just revealed it to him. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And from what he said, like he's so touched, he's so humbled that you did that. But when you were going to construct those tennis courts there, I know mostly in Zambia we play football. What hope did you have that people will welcome it and all that?
People play football because that's what they're given, and that's something we need to be able to say. Not every person in Zambia is just talented in football. There are people that are meant to play football, there are people that are meant to play tennis, there are people that are meant to play golf, so we need to really look and discover those kind of people, It's good kids can play different sports to really discover themselves, but they have to be, on my side, they have to be tennis, so that they can also say, I'm good at tennis. I may not be good at football, I'm good at tennis.
All right. Yeah. So what will happen to the kids? Are they supposed to pay something, or what's the...
No, they're not supposed to. They're not paying anything.
Wow.
They're just, it's just something that I'm really, it's something that I did it with, the team and I did for just to thank the people.
Mm-hmm. Okay, and I can see the kids there, like they're so excited, and they've really welcomed this idea of having tennis in a rural area, the very first.
Yes.
In Zambia.
Yes, and the first time we went there, they were juggling all the balls that they used to juggle, and you see just the talent, and I'm just sad that we didn't start to do this earlier.
Right, yeah. Right, and kids there holding the racket, so amazing. So what will happen? Are you going to find them uniforms as well for tennis?
Yeah, I'll do all my best to support these guys. I know a lot of them, and that's what it is. It's about building relationships. I know a lot of them by name, and I always feel like I need to go back and then visit them and see what they're doing, how they're doing in their life, even as they grow.
Okay, so so this school, at what level has it started for now?
So right now we started with the ECE, early child education, okay. And then we'll be going from ECE to 4th grade, and then every year we'll be increasing until we get to 12th grade.
Oh, up to grade 4.
Yeah.
Wow, great. So now, in terms of, because tennis, it may be complicated to most people. Have you found like tennis coaches to be teaching these kids?
Yes, we have 2 tennis coaches on site, and we're working with them to even encourage them to learn even more. And then there's some barriers that we find, like the language barrier, but because of the combination with the school, we'll be able to catch up. But I also want to say that right now it started with tennis, but we'll be introducing football, of course.
Oh, okay.
And we'll be introducing basketball too.
Right.
Yeah.
So that land is big.
Yes.
It can accommodate football pitches and all.
Even more, but those 3 are the ones that we'll start with right now.
Right. Okay. One of the kids, let me say most of the kids, like you've really inspired them, and they are saying that they want to play tennis so that they can go to the US like you did. What's your reaction to that?
I mean, it's nice for them to have that goal, but you know, me as an adult and my team as adults, our main goal is to try to get these kids to go into university in Zambia, and then they could graduate and get real strong jobs in Zambia so they could support their families. You know, we can't think that all of them are going to get scholarships, you know, to go to the US. I mean, I think it's much more beneficial for the country anyway if they could get, you know, education in Zambia. You know, and that's one of the things, again, I'm an advocate for. I would love to see a day when children in Zambia, you know, that graduate from 12th grade can get scholarships, at least for me, tennis scholarships, to go to university in Zambia. Because there's so many, when I was growing up, we didn't have that many universities in the country. But now, I don't know, I can't even say a number, maybe they're 50, 100, I don't even know. And then you have things like university games that they do, they go and play. Why can't the sportsmen, when women get scholarships, you know, besides academic scholarships, they could get sports scholarships to play for universities in Zambia and then make it strong so that they could get jobs and support their families. Like, there's a high chance of that happening than thinking that all of them will get scholarships to go to the US.
Okay. How expensive is it to construct a tennis court? Because in most schools you find that there's only maybe football, netball, athletics, mostly these, and tennis you only find them in cities and not in schools. How expensive is it to?
I think, I mean, the surface is pretty much close to netball or basketball, but you know, we just had a company in the name of the company is Just Tennis, based here in Lusaka, and they're the ones that constructed it. You know, the range could be from 7 to 15,000 just to build one tennis court. You know, but Just Tennis has just helped us a lot, you know, to construct those 2 tennis courts.
Okay. So in schools they can even have simple surfaces where they can be practicing tennis.
Yes. And I mean, that's something that we encourage. You know, with kids, sometimes they don't even care how good the surface is. It's us that are looking, oh, I need that surface to be really good. The kids love to have a surface that, I mean, as long as they're competing with each other, they're having fun, their head is away from something else, you know, they're having a great time.
Okay. How much support did you receive from the locals and everyone when you were embarking on this venture of, you know, coming up with an academy?
I mean, the word was something that I really appreciate, especially from the tennis community in Zambia, you know. But you know, I mean, I would love to see more and some people doing similar things, you know, elsewhere in the country, so that we could sort of build up these hubs that they could connect together. I would also want to, of course, thank from the US. I would like to thank all the, you know, the support that I got from. It's not something I would really love to mention. The support that I got to build this whole place really came from those kids I was talking about that were small and they're coming up. They're all,
wow.
Most of them know, they grow up, they know about Zambia. If you speak to them, some of them they sing Pompey songs or something like that, you know.
Wow.
These are the same people. They grew up knowing me, that as much as I'm there, my heart is also here in Zambia. And so when they know, when I said that I'm trying to do this, and I'm trying, especially when I was trying to do it for my father, they're some of the first people to say they stood by me. So yes, those kids that they used to be kids, they're adults. A lot of them are the ones that really supported me. Yeah.
Right. And in terms of playing, the kids are saying, no, this is the first time they're ever seeing that, and they're so excited. But in terms of playing, how are they adapting to this new sport?
It's very, very easy. Anytime a kid is having fun, learning is very, very easy. Anytime a kid is not having fun, learning is very, very difficult. So, we just try to make it fun for them, and they pick up very, very easily, So the talent is there, and that's why I was saying that I grew up going from Quito to Lusaka, like this, and we have Northwestern Province, we have Northern Province, Southern Province, Eastern Province, Northwestern Province, but I just grew up these two places,
right.
And that's another reason why I wanted to do this in Northern Province, of course, because of my father, but just for the fact that why is it fair that if I was born in Northern Province, I would never touch a tennis racket? Just the simple fact that I'm born in Mbala, you're never going to touch a tennis racket. It's not, and then there's national associations and stuff, but you're never going to touch a tennis racket. Something that just used to bother me a lot. So I'm just so happy that we did something like that over there.
Right. Okay, that's interesting. So let's recap on the question I asked you earlier. In case you missed it, we asked you to identify a sportsman, a legend in Zambian football. We asked you to identify who the legend is. If you can just have that photo once again as a recap to that question. Who is that legend? On that photo, the number is 0955 202904. That's just for WhatsApp. 0955 202904. On Facebook, you can go to Modern Sinkala Sports or Sports Hub Facebook page. Give us the name of that sportsman. Right. So even as we wrap up, let me put you against the wall. You said you come from a family of tennis players. Who would you say is the best of you all?
No. So that's a big fight, and it's a big fight. No one likes to answer that, especially me. I don't like to answer that question. Yeah. If I say it's me, and somebody else is going to say that's not true. That's always a big fight. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I know you've just avoided that one.
Yeah.
All right. How long do you think it would take for Zambia or for a Zambian player to reach the level of Rafael Nadal, Novak Djokovic, and all that?
If we start to have more people playing tennis, if we start to have thousands of tennis players in the country, I think 10 years you could see something really, really strong. We need to have 10 to 20,000 people playing tennis all over the country, because you could be playing Copperville in Lusaka, you don't even know you have a Nadal in Northwestern Province. You could be in Southern Province, Eastern Province, you don't know that, but you're just playing between the two provinces. So if we cover the whole place and then have the competition of, let's say, 20,000 people, you will find somebody with the best that you can find in the country. So yes, it will take that long, maybe about 10 years, if we have, from the time you have 20,000 people playing. But we still have to take care of the 20,000. So we're not saying that we want 20,000 people to have one Nadal. We need to have 20,000 people that will get even regular jobs, using tennis. Right. And then we will find a Nadal,
Looking forward to seeing a Rafael Nadal or Novak Djokovic or Roger Federer coming from Mbala.
Yes.
Soon. We'll be monitoring that project. So, Teza, even as we wind up, I know sportsmen and women like fancy haircuts. What has been your best haircut?
For me?
Yes.
Oh, it's easy. When hair starts to leave, you help it go. So taking it out is the easiest thing I do.
Right. Are you a family man?
Yes. I mean, I love not just worried about your own kids. I love like the family, like inclusive of everyone. My father is a great example, you know, of people call him my father, and this is somebody who's not my immediate brother or sister, and they call him my father. So I love that you know, that African kind of like, this is my father, this is my brother, this is my sister.
Nice.
Yes, yeah, I love that.
Okay, Teza, as we wind up, I put you to a challenge. You said you played football before. So let me see how you can juggle the ball. The ball is yours. You start it on your own. You start it on your own. Start it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You need another chance. I'll give you one more chance. You've done 7. Let me see how many more you can do.
The surface is not that good.
1, 2, 3.
Oh, no. Give me a tennis ball, it'll be different.
Tennis ball?
Yeah.
So, Teza, what do you want to achieve, like in the near future, that will fulfill you?
The school, I want to make the school self-sustaining. I would love to make it that I would love to see other parts of the school. I mean, the school in other parts of the country. I would love to see that the kids can go into university and get scholarships to university. Those are some of the things I'd love to achieve.
Thank you very much, Teza, for coming through. So I was hosting Teza Simunyola Jnr., who is a former Zambia tennis seed 1. He's based in the US now, but he's doing something in Zambia, in Mbala in particular. So until next week when I come with another guest, my name is Modern Sinkara. Goodbye.